you can get some very complicated braises with lots and lots of ingredients. And like I said, that's why I explained with the pilaf. I want you to focus on the techniques that I'm using, okay? Not the ingredients. Because just like, that's why Chef Sahani made those jokes when she was demoing mayo about the cayenne pepper. Sorry, Chef. Is because I see students running around in the middle of a mayonnaise practical. Where's the cayenne pepper? Where's the cayenne? I'm like, who cares? How much cayenne pepper do you need in your mayo? It's an optional ingredient. The egg yolks, the oil, those are mandatory. Get those together. The emulsion is mandatory. Everything else is just optional. Okay? So don't take your eye off the ball and get hung up with, oh, well, I don't have the right kind of parsley or braising. Okay, so focus on the fundamental, really important parts of the technique first, and then you can add and subtract and do lots of different things once you have a good understanding of what you're doing. Now, I'm going to take this chicken and I am going to dredge it in some seasoned flour. Okay? Now the flour does a couple things. Just mixing the salt in here. The flour will add kind of a second skin while it's searing. Okay, will help it crisp up. Additionally, it will thicken the sauce a little bit as it's cooking. Okay, that starch in there with all the other stuff that's going on, it's going to help the sauce thicken over time. Okay, you can do this without flour, but I find that it works much better with flour. Hot. Good, good. Now I'm just doing the legs here. I'm going to do 2 legs in a brown braise and then 2 legs in a white braise, and I'll take you through both. Alright? So remember, this initial part is just for color. Okay? So this chicken leg is going to come out of there raw. Okay. So this beginning phase, again, saute. Okay, nice high heat. So anytime you see these instructions on there, you know, sear the scallop, sear this, sear that, or brown it in a pan, you're sauteing. And you should be able to, as a cook, be able, oh, right, saute. I know how to saute. Simplify things for yourselves. We only give you 7 techniques, 5 mother sauces. Okay, and with that, you can do anything. So if you can simplify everything down to those most basic, most important techniques and things, you're going to have a much easier time of it. Okay? Question? I usually always just start things skin side down out of habit, but both sides are going to get brown, so no, it wouldn't really matter at the end. Now, another thing to notice, to keep all the stations clean, we're working with raw protein and stuff here. Okay, these go back into the simmering water. Okay, they had raw chicken on them. This now has raw chicken in it. So don't let anybody start making biscuits or something out of it.
Want to make pancakes out of that?
Yeah, some pancake batter go real good, or some waffle batter in my chicken waffle. Question?
Instead of using oil, can you use an egg and milk mixture?
That would be breading. That would be something very different. Yeah, because the amount of browning that I'm going to be doing here would be a little too dark for that, a little too heavy duty. Yes? Huh? Oh, it did? That's good for you. Builds character.
You need some oil on your face.
Okay, so just like the other saute, and we'll show you the saute technique all by itself. We have a day that's dedicated for sauteing. You guys will be able to do it as well. The first rule when you put a piece of protein down in the pan is don't fiddle with it right at the beginning, or you'll shred it. It'll stick to the bottom, and you'll try to pull it off, and it'll stick, and you'll pull it to pieces. What you need to do at this part, it will stick, sure, but eventually it's going to start browning, and it's going to start separating from the bottom of the pan on its own. And then you can kind of wiggle it or move it just a little bit and it will let go. But you have to give it time to get browned up before it will start to release from the pan on its own. Okay, so I'm also rendering some of the chicken fat out into here and stuff like that. So we're going to have quite a bit of fat built up in this pan, which is okay because I'm going to eventually add some of that flour to it and make a roux that's going to thicken this sauce while it cooks in the oven. Okay, so I do have a little bit more fat in here than I would normally have because I'm going to use it to build a roux later on. There, you can see one of the pieces of chicken is already cut loose. I pull it off the heat too when I fiddle with it. Because one of the things that you'll see, I think I mentioned this to you before, you get the water that's coming out of the protein, okay, the fat that's in the pan, open flames, grease fire. And once you get that, all that burnt oil and burnt fat will fall back down on top of your protein or whatever else is in the pan, and it will taste like a tire fire smells. Awful. It just tastes like burnt fat. And it will effectively poison the flavor of everything that's in your pan. So when you're going to fiddle with stuff and you're using open gas heat, pull it off the heat and then fiddle with it. Okay, we've got some nice color here. Just a nice golden brown color. Okay, I'm not making Espanol. This is going to be with chicken.
That's fried chicken.
Now, Chef, how would that compare to a copper pan or a cast iron?
Cast iron pan is going to be slower to heat up, but it's also going to hold that heat longer in the pan. So you can heat it up and then turn the heat down, and it's going to stay at more of a medium temperature, a constant temperature for a long time. Steel and aluminum are going to heat up faster and cool down faster. So that means you're going to have more of this when you're trying to achieve that constant temperature. So cast iron is easier to cook on in a lot of ways because it holds things at a medium temperature. But when you're in the industry, we mostly cook on aluminum because it heats up fast. It's a cheap pot compared to steel or cast iron or copper or anything like that. And copper is just very hard to clean. You got to polish it. Yeah, it's extremely expensive, and you got to polish it and things like that. The one thing that we didn't get was chicken stock. Let's see if there's any chicken stock in there. If not, we'll need to send a runner up to CF2, see what we can find. Okay. So, generally speaking, just like we did with the Espanol, you're going to cook this to the color that you want your finished product to be, your finished sauce to be. If you had, say, lamb shanks or you're making a beef stew, this would be very, very dark pieces of beef in there, pieces of lamb, that would then make the sauce darker. This is kind of like the demo that I've given a bunch of times where I don't use stock, I just use water to make sauce out of it. And this is one of the primary things that I use to color the sauce, is how far I color the meat. So again, this isn't something that you can rush. Knife skills, yeah, bang them out, go faster.
That's the chicken and shrimp stock, and then there's
Oh, chicken is what we want.
Oh, it's kind of blended, chicken and shrimp together.
Together? That's screwed up. I'll go look in a little bit.
Okay, and there's some brown stock with a clear fat.
Oh, you can give me the brown stock. That'll be fine, sure. Okay, so you can do these kinds of preparations and sauces and things. I guess one of these, half sheet pan. I'll put my chicken legs on there.
That's a lot of fat.
That's why. Yeah, they're not saving this.
Oh, somebody
It's for the fat.
Oh, they forgot to take that off.
Yeah, take that off and put it on the...
Okay, so that's all there is, just shrimp.
Okay, shrimp and chicken will be fine for what we're doing, no
Want
problem.
me to go to kitchen two?
What's that?
Kitchen two?
Yeah, try that out. See if they've got any. I don't know if I want to use shrimp stock for my braised chicken. Okay.
Want to make it fun?
So now, Let's take a look what we've created here in the pan. We've got our, that's kind of weird. Yeah, we've got some busted fat, and we've got some fond in the bottom of the pan. Okay?
So that's what you would deglaze then?
We would, yeah. Now we're going to start building the mirepoix. Now you have a couple of choices here. You could use this and keep building sauce into it if the fat is not too beat up. This is pretty good. It's just the same color as my chicken. Other preparations, you're going to find some of the flour that's fallen off has gotten really blackened and really burnt. Sometimes you would need to just wash the pan out completely and begin again for this next phase. So you're going to have to make a choice here. What am I going to do next? This fat is still okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add my bacon, and I'm going to render that and lightly brown it. Notice I'm doing this again off the heat so that I don't get any flare-ups or anything like that. It drove me crazy as a chef. And you can see I've got enough heat in the pan and stuff here to do all the rendering that I need to do without putting it back on the fire. You can do quite a bit of cooking completely off the heat with just the pan and the heat that's been stored in it. So again, these cuts that I've made, they're called lardons. They're those little slices of bacon. Okay, so this is the finished cut they come in complete. As opposed to little bacon bits or something like that. This is more of a classical cut that you would find with bacon.
It only
Sliced
applies to
bacon.
bacon?
What's that?
It only applies to bacon?
Yeah, bacon or, yeah, pretty much, yeah, or salt pork. You can cut into lardon. It's commonly served on salads that way, classical French salads. You'll find bacon lardon on them as opposed to crumbled up bacon bits like you would find at a truck stop.
I've seen an egg on their salads too.
On salad? Yeah, yeah. In fact, we used to do a salad that I really loved up in CF2 that was, bacon lardon, duck fat croutons, chicken livers, and then a poached egg on top of arugula. Beautiful, classical, rustic French country salad. Give you a chance to cook some livers too, that everybody kind of freaked out about. This is a good, hearty country salad. Okay, so you guys have seen me do this, just lightly brown. Could you grab me a piece of paper from the, what do you call it? Paper dispenser guy. So I've just lightly browned these now. I've got all the bacon fat in there that's left over. But if I keep adding stuff to this, I'm going to have burnt bacon.